The following broadcast will contain excitement, loud noises, and incredible levels of entertainment. If you are offended by any of these, please turn off now. Monday nights are Skippy nights here on RaceSpotTV to welcome you to coverage of Week 4 of the 2014 Club UK and Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Championship. The drivers have headed over to Elkhart Lake, Road America in Wisconsin for this, the 4th round of the championship, where this 4-mile layout will produce some incredible 2 and 3 wide racing. Wilkinson along with Rachel Whiteford here on RaceSpotTV, and already we have seen 3-wide racing through the kink in practice, Rachel. We know anything can happen in the Club UK and Ireland Championship, and generally it always produces some incredible racing.
Well, good evening, Will, and if it can happen, the UK and I Skip Barber Racing School Series usually try to make that happen. We've seen some exciting stuff already in practice. These guys are going no holes barred. Looking forward to one heck of a race tonight, Will.
There you can see 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining on the play clock for practice before we head ourselves over to qualifying. It's a closed course qualifying here today. I think you alluded to that one perfectly, Rachel, with 3 incredibly long straightaways on this racetrack, both on the run out the final corner down towards turn 1, out of turn 2 down towards turn 5, and out of the carousel down towards Canada corner. We would have ourselves essentially a Talladega Daytona style draft session. Probably a bit of a better idea to make it closed course qualifying.
That's definitely true, and I believe everyone's favourite YouTuber, Empty Box, described it best this week when he said it was the closest thing to open wheel plate racing in iRacing, because this circuit is fast, even on your own. Put a couple of cars in a pack together, we are going to see the equivalent of a NASCAR Daytona race or Talladega, because these guys will be 2 and 3 wide. They do it on places like Sonoma, they do it at Mosport. I don't see why we aren't going to see at least 4 or 5 wide here, Will.
Oh yeah, we have seen 3 wide through the kink and getting away with it. Now the only drama I really see is actually that run down in towards Canada corner, because the track isn't straight at that point. You've got yourself a couple of little twists, a couple of little kinks to get yourself through there, and these drivers are running literally microscopic amounts away from each other. You're just checking on board with Rafael Dreskus. He's currently sat 3rd place in at practice. And these drivers, I think there is going to be the big one. It will be on that run down into Canada.
Well, I can agree with you. I can see why that would happen. Canada Corner has notoriously given us some incredibly questionable incidents, but I think in the way this car handles, the hurry downs could well be a danger spot. Those corners are short, you're on a downhill grade, and they're very tight, Will. So I think it will bunch up the pack, and we might have some tears in those locations, but nothing's to say we aren't going to have guys going wide as they enter the Marine Straight.
We have currently got ourselves 35 people who have attempted to set themselves a lap here today in practice. So looking as though we're going to have ourselves a 35 car field, which at Road America on one hand, that's not a lot. On the other hand, we do know that we have seen a bit like good old-fashioned IndyCar, Chicagoland racing, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars all separated by 2, maybe 3 seconds on the racetrack.
Oh, certainly, and we see it every week here, even on very technical courses. I've mentioned already Sonoma, we had Sebring, of course. These guys, the front of the pack, and all through the pack, I can't really say the front because it happens everywhere. You get packs developing, they're 2 wide, they're 3 wide. You get groups of cars, 6 or 7 of them, within a second, less than a second. Sometimes in qualifying we have an entire top 20 separated by 1 second. These guys are quick. They're some of the best open-wheel drivers I've seen in iRacing, and they always produce a brilliant race to watch.
So then, qualifying is underway as you ride along board with Rob Marshall as he works himself onto the racetrack. We will expect to see these outlaps being a little bit slow, Rachel. We do know maybe these guys get themselves their best lap probably on their second timed lap. And the issue with a long track like this is that you put a foot wrong, then it's not a case of, you know, waiting a minute and a half and going for it again. This was what Donington last time out. You've got yourselves a very long wait, over 2.5 minutes before you can have another go. These guys, I think, are going to have to put a little bit in reserve in their first qualifying lap, get themselves a banker, then that second lap is where I'm going to see some incredible times.
Well, this Skip Barber car is the absolute definition of slow in, fast out, and never will you see that more applicable than here at Road America. We have some slow corners and very long straightaways. That means you have to get the maximum exit speed you can possibly get, and guys are going to have to take some risks to do that. These cars, let's not forget, have street tyres on them. They take a while to warm up, so lap 2, potentially lap 3 will be the best one. But as you're right, a banker lap is vital. You make one mistake, that's 5-6 seconds gone.
So then, just checking in with drivers as they're working themselves on what is a very long warm-up lap for them. A couple of people, of course, we always need to keep an eye out on, including this driver as we ride on board with him as he works himself out of the carousel down towards that kink. And this is exactly what we were talking about a moment ago, Rachel. That kink, you turn right here, but then it's not straight into Canada. You still got yourself another little two twist. It turns a little bit to the right, then you got a more turn to the left, then as you're coming towards Canada, again, another little kink to the left as you approach that braking zone.
Yeah, definitely, and when you're 2 or 3 cars wide, that's going to be a lot tighter than you expect. The kink itself, it's high speed, but it's not quite full throttle. When you've got somebody next to your wing, that's definitely not a full throttle corner. But we know these guys have incredible spatial awareness, and we will see some awesome close fighting. But the carousel, I think we're going to see a couple of cars wide through that. It's going to be exciting.
Well, right on board then with Robert Marshall as he begins a lap there, just pushing out a little bit wide actually in that final corner, corner number 14, Rachel. That will actually hurt his run up this hill down in towards turn number 1. That's the thing, you really start your lap here at Bill Mitchell Bend, the penultimate corner on the racetrack. You've got to make sure you get good momentum for that final corner on a qualification lap.
Definitely, the huge hill that runs up to the start-finish line is a big momentum killer. You got to get what you can possibly get out of that final corner, because you're going to lose half of it. And let's not forget, coming down that long straight into the very tight turn 1, we're going to see quite a few guys locking their brakes and losing some speed in there.
As you can see, Rob Marshall then working himself now through corner number 2, that run down in towards turn number 5. And just as I alluded to at the King, this straightaway isn't really straight either. It's got turn number 3 and 4 involved in it. This is technically turn number 3 as you run yourself underneath the big yellow bridge. And then turn 4 is that little left-hand kink. Now, we are going to see 4-wide action. It's going to be down here at turn number 5. Note that runoff on the outside of the corner, Rachel.
Yeah, definitely, and the fastest laps, you'll see these guys using as much of that runoff as they can, as we see Marshall get all the way onto the wood planking, actually, runoff area.
Yeah, as he works himself now underneath the Corvette bridge in towards turn number 6, brushing a bit wide. That will be his first lap of the day over as he brushes wide there. So we'll switch ourselves over to Peter Cohen as we ride along board with him as he works himself out of the hurry downs, now down in towards the carousel. Talking about momentum, this is a corner where momentum is going to be incredibly interesting. It's going to be a case of pick a lane, stay in it, but make sure you get yourself the best run out of the corner possible.
Yeah, this is, well, it's easy in 4th, but it's probably more momentum in 3rd gear for that corner. And you've got to really watch your revs, because it's very easy to over-rev towards the exit of that corner, but you do want the gear to be as low as possible to give you that punch out, the higher RPM.
And there you can see Cohen working himself then down in towards Canada corner now, as he's just got himself now about 3 corners left of this racetrack to go. Now you can see as well, Rachel, what I'm talking about. Over 2 minutes for this lap already. Lap times around that kind of 220, 230 range, as Cohen now working himself into Bill Mitchell Bend. 1 more corner left to go for him.
There is indeed, and this last corner is a tough one because it's a little blinder than you think. A very late apex there. We see Peter Cohen getting late on that apex, running wide onto the runoff area. That's perfectly acceptable as far as running wide. Good momentum out this final corner. We're going to see what he does. Will he improve well?
Well, he gets himself a 2-minute 34.5. 2-minute 34.853 there for Cohen, but Draskis goes fastest for the time being. Shabidovic moving himself to the top of the timing stands for the time being. So, a couple of people have now put their first laps on the board. Stuart Adcock going up into second position. But Draskus, there we can see him, was provisional pole for all of 5 seconds, Rachel. Currently scored third place in qualifications.
Yep, timings just seemed to explode onto my screen then. I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, Savidovic leading the way with nearly 33 dead. That is one heck of a lap, Will.
As we ride along board with him now as he comes down in towards corner number 5. Now, this is the point I was mentioning earlier, that these guys have got themselves 10 minutes in total. With that out lap, they're only going to get 3 laps in. Mess up a lap, not only do you drop time, you also means that you won't get your entire 3-lap allocation in. You'll only be able to do 2 full-time laps. Savidovic, this is really going to be his last chance to secure that pole position. Currently scored first place, running over the curb there in turn number 6, but gets away with it as he comes down into the hurry downs.
Yeah, he's about 700ths even clear of second place Stuart Adcock. But that's not a lot here. This is a very long circuit. You can gain and lose that in a single corner. So we see Savidovic heading out the final corner of the hurry downs now, heading for the carousel, keeping that momentum up, keeping it tucked in quite tight. A little bit of actual banking on that corner, which helps keep the car pinned round. Great exit there. We're going to see him run very wide onto the exit curb as he does, using that bit of wood there. Road America likes its wood curbing. Through the kink now. Great line there, giving it as flat as possible. Every inch of the track used well.
Yeah, as he works himself down then in towards Canada corner once again. There you can see his first lap, timed lap at 2 minute 33.076. Giving an update on Stuart Adcock. There you can see him. The gap to the race lead is 82 1,000ths of a second. Third place is currently Rafael Draskus. He is 0.2 of a second behind your race leader, but he will come through to get to the start-finish line first out of these 3 drivers. We're right on board with him for the time being as he works himself out the final corner. Up the hill will come. 2 minutes 20 left on the play clock. This will be his final lap as he works himself towards the start-finish line. Will the lap time improve for Draskus as he comes past the stripe? The answer to that question is going to be... yes, he does. He moves into provisional pole position there for the time being. But we need to see what does Savidovic does as Ward now goes into first place. Savidovic coming past the line. He does not improve his time. Savidovic loses out there. Tom Ward provisionally now is scored on pole position, Rachel.
My God, Will, that's a heck of a lap there from Tom Ward. And of course, Mercer, Draskus, Adcock as well. Also breaking into that 32 barrier. All of them running 32.8s. That is 2 whole tenths clear of Dominic Brennan in 5th with a 33.05.
Clark Williams working himself down towards the final corner then. Most drivers now have completed 2 laps. They won't get any more in as Clark Williams using a little bit too much of that curb on the inside. That will upset him as he runs himself down towards the start-finish line once again. Will he be able to improve on his time? Currently scored P14, 2 minute 33.665 for him that last time by. Comes past the start-finish line, this time by 2:33.7. He will not improve his time. We've got Sam Everest. He is also, I don't think actually he will get a lap in, so it'll just be 1 lap there for Sam Everest. As far as this goes, pretty much all of these guys now have got their laps complete, with the exception of this guy, Rachel. Eddie Stevens, as he works himself down into Canada corner, currently 32nd, hoping to try and snatch up some more positions, as now he's the last driver who will be able to improve on his time.
He is indeed, Will, and just to point out earlier what I said about the closeness of this racing, 16 cars running within 1 second on this 2 minute 30+ second lap.
Incredible stuff as Ellis Stevens works himself now down in towards that final corner in the multicolored car, which so many people come to know and love of him. Working himself then up the hill as he comes down towards the start-finish line. And will he improve on his best lap? The 2 minute 37.508. He worked himself past start-finish line to 36.6. That does not move him up any positions by the look of it. He remains in the 32nd place for the time being. Now, as I say, most of these drivers will not get another lap in because there is qualifying over and the cars will head themselves down to the starting grid. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's run through this, your starting grid for the 4th round of the 2014 Club UK and Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Championship here on RaceSpotTV. And starting this race then on pole position will be Tom Ward with a qualifying time of 2 minutes 32.811. Mark Mercer lines up alongside him on that front row of the grid, separated by just 61 one-thousandths of a second. Rafael Draskis actually just a further 5 one-thousandths of a second back, and then Stuart Adcock rounds out your top 2 rows, separated by less than 1/10 of a second. Heading on then onto row number 2. So row number 3 even. Simon Povey, Dominic Brennan. Row number 4, Woodrick Zavidovic and Graham Carroll. Row 5, Fahim Martinez and Chris Simpson. Jonathan Maycock, Marcus Hamilton in row 6. Rest of qualifying coming up on your screens, Rachel. If you've never seen one of these broadcasts, one thing you need to do is get to the edge of your seat in the next minute and about 10 seconds.
Yeah, everyone's going to have to go to that bathroom, get that cup of tea on your lap, because you're not going to want to leave this
Don't
screen.
put the tea on the lap, please.
No, not on the lap. Put it
Health and
somewhere
safety.
secure and safe that you're not going to knock it off, because this is going to be exciting. We know it's good. Hopefully, well, it does seem as though Fahim Antonides has, of course, learned from our little fun moment last week where we all commentated from the top of his pit box because he left his spotter unlocked. So, shout out there to Fahim.
Yeah, as there you can see once again, now your top 20 coming into this race. Tom Ward, Mercer, Draskis, Adcock, Povey, as the cars just getting themselves now lined up on the starting grid. And there you can see your overall qualification pole position driver, as we are getting ourselves now set for the start here at Road America. 10 laps, about to get away any moment now. Those engines rev up. The 4th round of the championship will start right now. Already down into free-wide racing, already the cars trying to find themselves a bit of a position as they come down in towards turn number 1 for the first time. There you can see them as we look high above here at Road America, but out front already a battle for the race lead as Tom Ward leads into that first corner. He's got the inside line, but around him cars swarming 2 and 3 wide already, Rachel, in the battle for P4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at them come. They are 3 wide, almost 3 deep in the middle part of this racetrack.
They are indeed, and from what I can see, everyone's gotten to that turn 1 clean wheel, which is no mean feat at this circuit.
Battle for the race lead down here, you can see riding along board with Mark Mercer. He has got himself to the race lead for the time being. However, you can see that Ward will have that inside line into the corner, but Mercer able to pull ahead, and he takes that lead as they come down in towards turn number 5 for the first time. Look at that 52 car, a huge head of steam. He will go alongside now that number 9 car as they work themselves in towards turn number 5 for the first time. Up they come underneath the Corvette bridge, and look at this huge gaggle of cars as they come down in towards turn number 6 for that first time, Rachel. This is going to be potentially a bit of a trouble spot.
I think it could well be, Will. I don't even think we can call this a pack of cars. This is a swarm.
So they work themselves now out of that. And we're having a look actually down the rear of the field. We have got a car off on the racetrack. That is Clark Williams by the looks of it. So Williams is our first victim. Oh, we got a car upside down. Rear of the field as well. Adrian Bidwell, there you can see him, was turned up and around, and a big gaggle of cars there at the rear of the field taken out. You got Mark Turner also involved in that mix, and Paul Grillo, arguably, Rachel, is going to be our biggest loser in that. Let's get ourselves a very quick replay to try and figure out what happened to Paul Grillo, because he's going to be classified as well down at the field, pretty much classified as out, I think.
I think he could well be, Will. That was, I believe, the 79 car of Rich Jones, very slow on the apex, and that was Adrian, Adrian, who just literally couldn't quite, Adrian Bidwell, didn't anticipate how slow he'd be and ran into the back of him, and that caused that number 13 car to go straight in the back. So that's been a bit of excitement there, Will, and the end of a few cars' races.
Yeah, big incident there. However, we have, of course, got a battle going on out front as we're checking in then with Mark Mercer. Oh no, look at that second place car, Tom Ward, running himself very wide out that final corner. That is going to now allow Mercer the opportunity to put away just a little bit. 2 wide racing right behind him between Draskis, who's loaded on board of him, and also Graham Cowell, battle for P3, the double O car, able to get ahead of Draskis as they work down in towards turn number 1. And there you can see the overspeed as well, working for Carroll as he storms past Tom Ward. That is that momentum we were talking about, Rachel. Lose it out of that final corner, you're suffering all the way up the hill.
You are indeed, but we mentioned this is like restricted play racing, because being out on your own will not keep you there. We know cars together will have that draft and they will get much closer. So it's all going to be a matter of who can get together, work together and move up. But Mercer is by far and means not safe. To run through cars we know are out of this race, we have Adrian Bidwell is out. Mark Turner very likely out. Tim Adcock is out. Clark Williams is probably out. Chris Simpson, Simon Povey and Tim Adcock. So yeah, this has not been a good start for quite a few of those cars.
As we're riding on board with Brendan O'Brien, battling with the 01 cars, they come down in towards turn number 5. It's going to be a case of last and late breakers as Brendan O'Brien trying to make it work on the outside line. Does get that job complete, but then runs very wide coming up the corner. He does secure that position and move Brendan O'Brien up into P13 on the racetrack.
More
just
contact.
behind him, a bit of more contact as these guys continue to have very close battles on this racetrack. And they can see your mid-pack is incredibly tight right now. One driver who's storming through the field is Ellis Stevens. He's up 13 positions since this race went green already, but out from Mark Mercer continues to lead this motor race, Rachel. Got the gap now up to about 8 tenths of a second from Graham Cowell's a car that I believe is Ward going very, very wide there off the racetrack, and he's really having a tough day of it right now.
Yes, he does. And just to give you that information, Will, the cars involved in that wheel banging were Fahim Antonides in the 10 and the 212 of Dominic Brennan in the hurry downs. Banging wheels, but both of them keeping it on the track.
As Tom Ward, there you can see a replay of him pushing very wide there out of the carousel, costing himself more positions. He has really had a tough day of it so far as he started this race up through the field. He's just losing positions left, right and centre. He's now running down in the 9th position, hopping over the curbs in the Bill Mitchell bend. This is not the day that he would have want right now. Graham Cowell, however, is starting to close up to the rear of Mark Mercer in your battle for the race lead. We're right on board with him as they come down past the start finish line. And look at the overspeed here, Rachel. It's over 11 miles an hour as they come down in towards turn number 1. Carroll is just really quickly gaining on the cars ahead. He looks to the outside, not quite close enough. A very slow car on that inside line coming out of pit road as they storm it down into 1 once again.
Yeah, I think that's Clark Williams coming out of the pits in that 98
And Ward
machine,
is out,
but,
by the way.
Ward is out, yes he is. Carroll there, brilliant overspeed, but of course, Mark Mercer saw him coming, he moves that defensive inside line, doesn't really give Carroll any options, Will.
Yes, we now have a look from the rear of your race leader, Mark Mercer, to Graham Carroll as they work themselves down in towards turn number 5 again. It's a 10-lap race here at Road America. There's going to be excitement at every turn as now we will see a battle for the race lead between Graham Carroll and Mark Mercer. Graham Carroll on the outside line, Mark Mercer on the inside, riding along board then with Graham Carroll. Will he get that moved on the outside line? Yes, he will. Move Graham Carroll up to your race lead.
That Lotus car is heading right out into the front of this race. He is our new leader. Will he keep it there before the end of this race? We don't know. Also news, Tom Flagg has a meatball flag. That is black flag with a red circle. He has too much damage. Race Control have told him to bring it to pit road.
Dominic Brennan for Fahim Antonides continuing their battle. We heard about how they had contact in this section of the racetrack like last time by. They were running too wide underneath the Corvette bridge down in towards turn number 6. This time by, they are single file once again. But this field has settled down just a little bit. Further down the field though, we still got, look at this huge gaggle of cars. We've got, for example, Ellis Stevens, Rob Kane, Brendan O'Brien. They are battling outside of your top 15 right now. Stevens in 16th position, Kane in 17th, 18th position is Brendan O'Brien. And these guys are literally nose to tail, Rachel, as we ride on board then with Brendan O'Brien.
And here we are, everyone's cycling through that wide carousel there. Lots of cars in one small space, as we said. These guys are all over each other, Will. That overspeed and that draft keeping cars together, as we see. Not O'Brien, I believe that is... you know what, I can't even tell, because no one's in the same order they are when they start the lap, because there's so much passing going on.
We have got, though, side by side, Rob Kane, Ellis Stevens, as they come down in towards Canada Corner. Here you can see, our camera will switch it over. As you can see, Ellis Stevens on the outside line, the 708 car on the inside line. That is Rob Kane, just ahead of them as well. A pass going on for position, but Kane will get himself ahead of Ellis Stevens. Stevens gets himself the better run out of the corner as they work themselves down in towards Bill Mitchell bend, but Rob Kane does make that pass complete as we've got, again, now Mercer right up to the rear of Graham Carroll. This is your battle for the race leader. Now Carroll will look to the outside, inside, Mercer on the outside, and it looks as though that Mercer back to the point there and towards turn number 1. But now we know that he can make that pass into turn number 1. We know he can make that pass in towards turn number 5. This could well come down to who has the biggest kahoonies into Canada corner on that final lap.
I think it could be. It's tough to say, though. I mean, watching these guys having passed each other, yes, by the end of the straight, they will pass one another. So whoever's leading out the final corner will not be leading in the first. But by the start-finish line, which is critical, Will, the guy who leaves the final corner first will reach the start-finish line. So it's not a Daytona situation where you want to be second out of that last corner to win the race.
Unless you put the pressure on the driver in front of you. And I think that is what you're going to see on that final lap. Drivers trying to unsettle other drivers as they come through Bill Mitchell Bend, and then that final corner, as you're just checking in the battle for P3, P4 on the racetrack. That is between Roderick Savidovic and Rafael Draskis. Right behind them, there you can see Jonathan Maycock and battling with Marcus Hamilton in the battle for P5 and P6 position on the racetrack. As we have a look from the rear then of Jonathan Maycock as they come down through the hurry downs once again, Rachel.
Yeah, we do, and Maycock leading currently from Hamilton. Good exit through the final corner of the hurry downs as he runs now to the carousel. Got to keep that car quite tight there. You aren't braking at all for this corner, let's not forget. You are just lifting to get it turned as little as possible, obviously, because speed is critical. You want to be in the top of third gear exiting this corner so you get maximum drive off and the run down to the Kinkwell.
Great little battle going on right now. There you can see Michael Booth, by the way, running himself in the 11th position. He's one of the few drivers running in no man's land. There you can see the gap behind him is 5.8 seconds to Robert Plumley, but Plumley involved in a huge gaggle of cars, and this was a P12, 13, 14, 15 on the racetrack. There you can see the gap between himself and Ashley Blakely, running himself in the 13th position. Behind Blakely, Rachel, we've got another 2 cars, and this is where things are going to get mighty interesting soon, because that 777 car of Sam Everest is putting pressure on Blakely, who's in turn putting pressure with him almost going to go 3 wide there, down into Canada corner, and look at Sam Everest taking 2 positions almost there in the space of 1 corner, pushing there. I believe that was Plumley a little bit wide. Sam Everest, 2 spots, 1 corner. Great stuff on the outside line now to Bill Mitchell Bend.
Yes, and Blakely will be looking to try and get past Plumley once again, try and follow Booth through there. Sam Everest through, I should say. 2 wide to the final corner. Plumley running very wide on that runoff strip. Obviously now you've got that 92 car of Ashley Blakely looking down for the 3 wide and to start finish straight, Will.
Yeah, we're just getting ourselves a replay of that first move there, so we'll go back, we'll keep it with this footage, as they can see Everest getting past 1 driver and then 2 drivers as they work themselves down in towards Bill Mitchell Bend. So we'll stick it with this because they then do go 3 wide as they work themselves down in towards turn number 1, working themselves out of that final corner. You can see set up already 2 wide, almost 2 deep as they work themselves out of that final corner. Now as they come down towards the start finish line, you'll notice that Cannon Williams Colours car going 3 wide as they come underneath the bridge, working themselves down in towards that first corner. The number 92 on the inside, the 777 in the middle, and the 147 almost being pushed by the Club 100 car on the outside as they work themselves into that first corner. And confirmation, you can run 3 wide into Road America, because look at that. They all managed to make it through without incident, Rachel.
Got to stop you, Will, because it's now back to being 5 car pack as we see Sam Everest taking that lead back from Robert Plumley. They're everywhere. These guys are not giving up. The EVV been joined by, I believe that is the car of Rob Kane in that 708 machine as they're starting to start of the hurry downs through the Corvette bridge.
Yeah, and he's actually bringing another gaggle of cars with him. So it is now Everest, Plumley, Blakely, Kane, Cohen, O'Brien and Patterson. Also, Ellis Stevens in that mix as well. Stevens is now falling back down into the 20th position after gaining early in the day. This is all going on outside of your top 10. To give it back to your race lead, however, it is all of a sudden a 4-car pack. Here you can see Mark Mercer, the gap between himself and Graham Carroll is pretty much nothing. As is he going to see a pass down into a bit of a wiggle actually for that 00 car of Graham Carroll. But here's the interesting point, Rachel. The gap between 4th place to 1st is 1.1 seconds as we ride along board with Rafael Draskis scored in that 4th position. Your top 3 drivers separated by just 7 tenths of a second.
They are indeed, Will, and that is not even anything on this racetrack. These guys can all pass anybody in that group, as we just saw from looking at that pack back in 13th, 14th, 15th. 4th place in line doesn't mean a thing. You can be 1st 1 corner, you can be 4th the next. As they come across the start-finish line, of course, Mercer will still be in the lead here. Chances though that Graham Carroll's about to pull a move on him as he looks to the inside. Gonna head for that inside line of turn 1. Can he clear him in time to keep that secure for turn 2, Will? And will he be still leading in turn 5?
He does get himself the lead already. Of course, we're into the halfway point of this race already. So, 5 laps scored complete, 5 more to go as they work themselves down the hill underneath the bricks and Stratton the bridge. Coming down in towards turn number 2. It's Carroll from Mercer, Javidovic and Dreskis. They are your top 4 drivers. Now, Marcus Hamilton runs in the 5th place right now, but he is 4 seconds behind the lead gaggle of cars. As they can see, once again, Mark Mercer right on board of him, trying to set himself up for a pass. So they come down in towards turn number 5. Nice, simple move there. The overspeed working well for Mark Mercer. And now you can see, look at this. Zach Javidovic trying to take 2 cars in the space of 1 lap. Yes, he does. And Javidovic just pushing a little bit wide out the corner. That allows Mark Mercer to get back to the front. But Javidovic, they go 3 wide underneath the Corvette bridge.
That's incredible racing, Will. As we see there, Graham Carroll holding that inside line. He's going to try and hang on to that second. But Javidovic will have that critical inside line. Can he make it stick as we go through the hurry downs? He's not going to do it. Carroll will get that position back. Let's not forget Draska's at the back. He is not out of this one. He is looking all over.
As they work themselves now down in towards the carousel again. This is a great scrap going on for P1, 2, 3, and 4. Just behind him, by the way, Michael Booth has slowed down a little bit. So now you can see it's Sam Everest right on the rear of him in this battle for P number 11 on the racetrack. So Everest is caught up to the rear of Booth. He's had an incident. There you can see last night by 2 minutes 41.088 for him. Losing time again. Actually, he's worked himself out of the hurry downs down in towards the carousel. So Everest is on the charge. We're just going to stick it with this one for 1 moment to ride back along board with Sam Everest. Gets himself a good run out of that. And Jonathan Maycock, by the way, also going side by side with Marcus Hamilton for P5. But Sam Everest looking as though he might get that move done now on Michael Booth as they work themselves through the kink. Now it's a case of pick your line, Rachel, but always remember, cars right behind you is Booth, completely off the racetrack there through the kink.
He goes incredibly wide there, Will. Very lucky to keep that back of the track as we have Everest looking to the inside for Canada Corner. He should secure this move quite easily. Will he have the room to do it? Plumley is sniffing at his gearbox. Plumley will not make the pass as well as we see Everest secure that spot as they head to Mitchell Corner.
But here we can see 2 wide racing, battle for the race lead once again as they come down in towards turn number 1, and they're going to go 3 wide down in towards turn number 1. There you can see Mark Mercer, the number 80 car, Javidovic, splitting through the middle to the point, Rachel.
That is not 3 wide racing, Will. That is finding a gap between 2 wide and putting your car through the middle. To put this in context, 3 wide normally in this sort of thing, you are giving each other equal portions of the track. That was 3 wide in 2 lanes, Will.
Yeah, there we can see another look at it. Just incredible stuff there by that number 80 car. And somehow they managed to avoid contact as they do week in, week out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why this is some of the best racing you will see all week long. As Graham Carroll goes back to the point then. As you can see, 2 wide racing once again as they come down in towards turn number 5. Zoom our camera out. The 00 car and the 33 car working in tandem there. And Javidovic pushed to the outside line as they work themselves out of 5 down in towards 6 once again. Javidovic taking a little bit of the curve as they run down in towards that 6th corner underneath the Corvette bridge. And now Mercer will get ahead of Javidovic for the time being. Plenty of action though still to go on in the last 3.5 laps of this motor race.
I think plenty of action is an understatement, Will. I feel like an auctioneer already. Carroll is, of course, managed to make himself a small gap now. Hopefully the others behind him will fight, but I doubt it will make a difference. This is like getting a small gap at a plate race. It's not going to be there for long. Mercer, of course, still sniffing all over the back of him. Just heading back. Oh, Sam Everest is in the pits.
Yeah, we just shown that on our screen. He is on pit road. So there's been an incident. We've got another car off the racetrack as well. That is Rob Kane. So there you can see Rob Kane. He was just a car spinning, and Murray A. Coots is spun around as well in that number 55 car. So 2 drivers involved in incidents there. You can see Murray A. Coots, and then in fact you can also see Rob Kane having to bring his car onto pit road in the 708 car. So a couple of people losing out here in this event here today. But now again, mighty close. They work themselves down towards a king into Canada Corner, and here comes Mercer down on the inside, completing that pass over Graham Carroll, who puts it a little bit wide to Javidovic there. Right behind him, we rattle on board with Javidovic, Wodrick Javidovic, this time by 3 laps to go, Rachel.
It is indeed, and if we can get a replay up, that's turn 1 of lap 7 we had there for Sam Everest and Michael Booth. Booth making a dive bomb into turn 1 on that car of Sam Everest, and he just comes out of nowhere. Everest is not prepared.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get one after the race because there's so much action going on here. It is sometimes hard to keep up with. By the way, here you can see Jonathan Maycock having a battle with Marcus Hamilton for P6 and 7 on the racetrack. Now, these guys have been battling pretty much all race long, Rachel.
We haven't seen anything. Again.
As you can see, 3 wide, not quite that time in towards turn number 1. There you can see Carroll leading from Mercer, from Shavidovic, and right behind, it does look as though that Hamilton's not going to be close enough that time by to the rear of Jonathan Maycock, and this is actually a battle for P5, so right along board then with P5 driver Jonathan Maycock coming down in towards turn number 2, and there you can see from our 360 cam, there is the guy who's been hunting him down. Friction Racing's Marcus Hamilton for quite a while, as we now got James Steele, I believe, who is on
He's
pit
not, that's
road.
a glitch in timing.
Yeah, so timing scoring glitch. There you can see James Steele is on pit road down in the 20th position. But all of a sudden, it looks as though that Carroll's got himself a tiny bit of breathing space. 2.5 laps left to go. Mark Mercer not close enough that time by. So it's Carroll from Mercer from Shavidovic. There is the top 10. If we can keep it for long enough up on your screen. Carroll, Shavidovic, Druskis, Hamilton, Maycock, Atanides, Brennan, Green and Cunniff. They are your top 10 with 2.5 laps to go, Rachel.
Yes, they are indeed, and we have Brennan O'Brien and Rich Smith side by side running down the Moraine Straight.
And we've
also look at the
got
back of Alan Patterson, I believe.
Yeah, and you've also got the 92 and the 147 car. They've been running side by side down in towards turn number 5. As we're having a look there at Robert Plumney, scored in the 12th position. Right ahead of him is Ashley Blakely in the 11th spot right now. This is the remnant of the battle we saw earlier on before we had the incident with Michael Booth and also, of course, Sam Everest. The top 10, you see there, it was on the left-hand side of your screen, but Shavidovic now right back on the rear of Mark Mercer. They're down into the kink once again, right on board with Roderick Shavidovic. Will they try and split the needle once again? Shavidovic does look as though he's running himself a lot less wing than some of these guys. Of course, not many setup changes you can make. It's all about driver skill here, Rachel.
It is indeed. There are actually no wing options, so aerodynamics are not an option for these guys to play with. But they can change the rake angle of the car, which gives them a bit of a different aerodynamic ability for this vehicle. As we see there, of course, Carroll having a sniff, but not quite close enough, backing out wisely. Mercer's going to lead that final corner, but I doubt he'll hold it into turn 1 well.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see Shavidovic making another fantastic threading manoeuvre.
As here they come on towards the front stretch once again. 2 laps to go. Your top 5 drivers is here. You can see actually Carroll, as they come underneath the bridge, is going to already go side by side as they work themselves down towards turn number 1. And they're almost going to go 3 wide here again, because here comes Shavidovic looking down all the way to the inside that time by Shavidovic once again going to the point. It's that 3 wide down to that first corner. This is incredible stuff, Rachel.
Oh my god, it is, Will, as Shavidovic will hold this lead, hopefully into turn 2, but this changes everything, of course. We saw there, Carroll managed to get to the line from being second in the final corner before Mercer. So you can get out of that final corner and take this win. I don't even know where I'd want to be in this pack. I can't actually think now. I'm so excited. They could be anywhere. Who knows who's going to win this?
Druskis there, you can see it was 2 wide, 2 deep for a moment. He is now just staying out of the draft for the time being, hoping he can get someone to work with. He now falls back into line, running himself from that 4th position, as they are going to be 2 wide, 3 wide, as they come down into turn number 5. Notice, by the way, a little bit of damage to that double O car, which is Graham Carroll. He will have that inside line down towards turn number 5. Mark Mercer pushing out a little bit wide down the exit of the corner, but he is just behind, as it is going to be Carroll who leads away. 1.5 laps to go here, just 3 minutes worth of racing, and actually that time by Carroll pushing a little bit wide. Shavidovic on that outside line wasn't able to make the move as they come down in towards the hurry downs.
They do indeed, and they're going to come upon some lap traffic currently running. I don't even know who that is. That's probably one of the other cars. I'm too excited to really know the difference, but they're going to go a lap down. Rob Marshall, he gets out the way.
Yep, so now just 1 more lap and this incredible section of racetrack to go. Your top 4 drivers. There you can see, by the way, Druskis, who's just kind of stayed in line. Just 1.2 seconds behind your race leader. Now actually down to 1 second, running along board of him then. Let's see if anything develops ahead of him. I think this is that calm before that last lap storm, Rachel, but there's still plenty that can happen as Mark Mercer, as they work behind the trees. We've got a bit of contact behind him, just trying to figure out who that was. But we have got a little bit of contact, and Brendan O'Brien there is turned around. There we get confirmation of that. We'll have to get a replay of that one after the race. But Brendan O'Brien down towards pit road, as here you can see Mercer leads from Carroll, Huntravidovic and Druskis. They'll get the white flag this time by, Rachel.
They will indeed, and we're going to have to see who gets that run out of the final corner. Are we going to see it 3 wide, 4 wide? Are they going to find an imaginary 5th car? I can't even tell at this point, Will. Carroll getting a great run out the final corner. Look at that overspeed he already has as they're going for the hill.
Yep, so ladies and
Of course,
gentlemen, the white flag is out. One more lap to go. Yes, Rachel.
Look at this now, of course. You see the 2-car train. Draska's getting on the back of the others. Going to follow them past if he can use that draft effect. Hanging Mercer out to dry. But as we see there, Carroll and Savidovic pushing as a train. Almost bump drafting there. Savidovic might hold this one, but I don't think he will. As there we go, we have Mercer around the outside, around the outside, around the outside.
As they come down in towards turn number 2, once again, there you can see it is Mercer from Savidovic, from Carroll from Draskas. They'll work themselves down in towards turn number 5. Now, this is going to be the last key place to go 3 wide before the kink and then Canada corner. So this is why you set yourself up for that last run to the flag. It's right now, so right along board then with Roderick Savidovic. He has Graham Carroll there. You can see going to the outside, trying to thread the needle, contact. Oh, Savidovic, he hangs on. How in a name did he just do that? Savidovic, after making contact, sticks itself, still has the race lead as they were 3 wide there. Through the kink, they are 2 wide, still 2 deep as they almost try and go 3 wide down in towards turn number 6. I'm going to lose my voice after this one, but it's now Savidovic with Mark Mercer on his inside as they work themselves down into the hurry downs for the final time. Savidovic on the outside. Oh no, the 33 car has turned around there. That is Mark Mercer turned around. So Mark Mercer now down into the 4th position, but he carries on, turned around to a 45-degree angle, down into 4th place. He might still have a chance as they're down in towards the carousel for the final time. It is Savidovic from Carroll, from Druskis, from Mark Mercer. All 4 of those drivers separated by 1 second on the racetrack. As we have a look from the rear then of Roderick Savidovic. There you can see Graham Carroll right behind him. Anything can happen on this run down to the flag. Will Savidovic be able to hang on? Will Carroll find a way past? What about Draskas, who has stayed there, just hunting patiently? Now we can see Carroll. Will he try and set himself up? Yes, he does. He looks down to the outside line as they come beneath the trees. It's going to be Graham Carroll looking to the outside line. Savidovic will fall down into 2nd place, but has the inside line. Savidovic holds on for the time being. They're going to be 3 wide. It's a Bill Mitchell Ben. Look at this. 2 wide, 2 deep. Battle for the race lead, and it's going to be Carroll with the inside line down towards the final corner. Graham Carroll looking as though he might be able to hold on, and look at this. Draskas all of a sudden coming into the picture. Draskas gets a very good run and Savidovic goes off. It does look as though that Carroll might just be able to make it. Then Savidovic comes back on. It's going to be Graham Carroll from taking victory. Savidovic.
Mercer 2nd.
Yeah, Mercer just gets 2nd at the line. Savidovic will get 3rd. Draskas will get 4th.
Oh my God, Will. What was that?
I have no idea, as then Graham Carroll just blows up his engine. Wow.
Did he breathe during the last lap?
I don't think so. Let's get ourselves a replay.
That was the most intense racing I have ever seen. I think we need to go to commercial, then get some replays.
Well, we'll start by having another look at a couple of things, and this is actually that run down into the final corner. Now, I want to have a look at this one from on board of Savidovic, because he pushes out wide in that final corner. Of course, we've got ourselves another replay we want to look at in just 1 moment's time. This is when they make contact down on that running towards turn number 5, and somehow they just about manage to hold it on. Now, this is Savidovic just pushing himself incredibly wide as they work themselves through that final corner, and there you can see they are 3 wide. Savidovic getting himself back into the racetrack, wiggling all over the place. Draskas taking avoiding action. That allows Mark Mercer to get himself up into 2nd place, just able to hold on with Savidovic, but Graham Carroll there was just able to make the best of all the mistakes going on behind him. Now, I'm going to see if we can get ourselves a replay of this run also. This is down towards turn number 5. There we can see one little move there, and Savidovic, despite that contact with the double O car, despite going 3 wide, no one out of the race rate, so Savidovic actually holds the inside line and manages to get the race lead as they come down in towards turn number 6.
Yeah, that was incredible, Will. Of course, we had the contact in turn 5 where both guys seemed to wallop each other's tyres, and in normal circumstances and driven by humans, you'd see people spinning left, right and centre. But they somehow hold it, and they keep their position after contact. They go through turn 5. Yeah, Savidovic somehow is in the lead at this point after being involved in that contact. We see Mercer full-on side drift. He finishes 2nd, Will. This is I've never seen a more exciting finish to a race. These last 2 laps were heart-in-mouth racing, to quote Mark Mercer. It was. I feel like I'm an auctioneer. I
Uh,
feel like I just sold somebody a cabinet because this was non-stop fire-breathing action.
So just one more look then as they work themselves through in towards turn number 6. There you can see, just looking at our aerial coverage powered by And1 Design. Now this is the contact with Mark Mercer as they come down into the corner. There you can see Mark Mercer just turned around there by Graham Cowan on the exit of the corner. No harm, no real foul there, because Mercer of course comes home in that second place. I'm sure there might be a couple of words between Mercer and Carroll after the race, but all in all, incredible, great fun between these drivers once again, and absolutely incredible stuff as we get confirmation then of your final race results here from Road America. So Graham Carroll gets himself a victory then by 4 tenths per second over Mark Mercer. Roderick Savidovic coming home in the 3rd place. Rafael Dreskis in 4th. Marcus Hamilton in 5th, able to hang on from Jonathan Maycock. We didn't see much of that battle, but Hamilton and Maycock in a great battle all race long. Dominic Brennan in P7, Rob Green in P8, Fahim Atanides in 9th, and Colin Cunniff rounds out your top 10. Then to have a look through the rest of your field. Ashley Blakely in 11th, Robert Plumley in 12th, Patterson, Jones, Hannigan running out your top 15. Then Mark O'Connell, Murray A. Coote, Tim Adcock, Peter Cohen and Michael Booth. Well, they round out your top 20 as there are the remainder of your results. Every Monday night, Rachel, I say it can't get any more intense than this, and it does.
Yeah, I can't believe what we just saw, Will. I think we were just witness to World War III. Because the last time we saw that many lead changes, it was a restrictor plate track in NASCAR racing. It was Talladega in the UK and I, because we had maybe 3 or 4 lead changes per lap in this race. That was incredible.
Insane. Absolutely insane. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, next week here on RaceSpotTV, we do it all again. Don't forget, continuing coverage of the 2014 Pro Series of Road Racing is this Saturday here on RaceSpotTV as they continue onto the 4th round of the championship. Drivers trying to get themselves a place in the 2015 iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series, as well as coverage of the 16th Street Racing League as they head over to the Magic Mile this coming Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on RaceSpotTV as well. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at RaceSpotTV, like the video, check out our new website at www.RaceSpotTV, as well, RaceSpot.tv even. And this has been a RaceSpotTV presentation of the 4th round, the 2014 Season 4 Club UK and Ireland Championship here from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Road America. Myself, Will Vincent, Rachel Whiteford. We will see you all next time. Bye-bye.